how to reconstitute your peptides. Dr. Jaeggli here, part of your Catalyst team. So today I'm going to go over how to best reconstitute the peptides that you are taking. So to start with, I always encourage people, often you're not going to have gloves that I'm going to wear today, and that is okay, but you want to wash your hands before you do this or use hand sanitizer. So either one of those are fine. So to start, often you're going to have at least one of your peptides, which typically will look something like this. And then you'll have your bacteriostatic water, or also known as your BAC or your backwater. It looks like this. And you might have multiple peptides that you're reconstituting at one time. And that is okay. We just want to make sure that we have our measurements down. So today I'm not going to go over measurements. I'm just going to show you how to do this. That will be in another video. So okay, so starting out, whenever we are doing any or preparing any sort of injection, we always want to wipe the bottle off, both bottles with alcohol. So even though they haven't been touched and you're going to have these tops on here, that shows that it hasn't been opened yet. And that, this is brand new, doesn't matter. You're still going to wipe them off when first opening them, as well as any other time that you are drawing out your peptide from that bottle, you're going to wipe it with alcohol first. So, okay. So to get started, now this isn't actually a peptide and it's reconstituted already. So just using this one as an example, we are going to pop that top off, right? So pop the top off. I will do it with this one. So it's going to be like that. And then we're going to see this, right? With a circle in the middle. And that's where you're putting the needle in. So let's say, okay, so again, going to wipe off here, and then pretend this one, so we've wiped off, we've cleaned the bottles. So let's just say that we are pulling out 1 milliliter of water out of our BAC water. So you can use the needle that you're going to inject with. That is possible, and sometimes that's the easiest. Once you go ahead and you have put this needle through a couple bottles, it does dull it a little bit, which makes it a little pokey. So if you want another option, I encourage people to get a separate syringe and drawing needle. So this is a 3cc syringe, as well as a drawing needle. This one is a 21 gauge 1-inch needle. So for today, we're going to use this, but we can do both. We'll go over both. So depending on what you have. So again, opened the syringe, going to open the needle. All right, putting the needle on and prime the needle, which just means pull down the plunger, and then take off the top. And we're going to take that. So this is a really good way to hold a bottle right here. So between your thumb, forefinger, and then we have direct access to that circle. So then we're going to put the needle right into the middle, and there we go. And then draw down till we hit that 1. So that's going to be the top edge of that black part up to the 1, up to the line of the 1. So maybe a little hard to see there, but if we say that's 1.5 and then going back up to 1. So the top edge of the plunger being on the 1 line, that's where you want to be for 1 milliliter. 2 would be going down to 2, of course, 3 going down to 3. Okay, so we've got it. We've got our 1 ml. Now this bottle actually is a bacteriostatic water, so it actually can be used for reconstituting other bottles. It's good for 30 days. So I typically like to put like a date on this because it's going to go back in the fridge and it's going to be good for reconstituting for 30 days. Now, keep in mind, like if you are, say, reconstituting a brand new bottle that's also going to last 30 days, but this one's at the end of its life, just get a new one, right? So just match your dates, match your timing. So, okay, so then this one, we would take that top off, obviously. Then you are going to inject this one ml of water into this bottle, right? best to kind of put it at an angle where that water is coming down, like inserting into the side of it. And then, so we're squirting our water in there into the top of this bottle very gently. We've already wiped it off. And then you're shaking it back and forth until you see that the powder in there has dissolved, and then you're ready to go. All right, so then this is going to get set aside. You are not going to reuse this. You are not going to reuse the syringe. This syringe is now dirty. This needle is now dirty. So now if you're doing all of this at one time, absolutely, you can take the clean water, put it into your other peptide bottles. That is totally fine. Tomorrow, no, you are taking this and you are throwing this away. You're getting a new one. So all right, let's review this with a insulin syringe. So now this one is going to be, this should look very familiar, something like this. And so these are typically, they can come in 30 units, but this is a 100 unit, which means 1 ml of water. So you can do the same thing. So we can take off this bottom, right? And then we're taking off the top, right? So now we have our syringe. So same thing, this whole thing, 100 units is 1 ml. So we're gonna do the same process. I'm gonna take this in, draw up 1 ml. So now on this one, it's gonna be 1 ml equals 100 units, right? We've gone all the way down. We have 100 units of water. This is 1 milliliter of water. So now, same thing, take your bottle that you're reconstituting, stick it here, go ahead and insert the water, push the water in where it's kind of hitting the edge of the bottle, and same thing, then reconstitute your peptide. Now, this one actually, since the water is gone, you can take your syringe, your insulin syringe, and say you're dosing on whatever peptide. Let's say you're doing your GLP-1. You could take then and draw down, if you're on, say, like a 20 unit, then you could use the same one to pull back out 20 units and give yourself an injection, which I will go over next. So that is it. Basically, that's all we need to do for reconstituting our bottles. After you are done, these will all, if you've not used your whole bottle, there are some situations where you're using the whole bottle, but most times we're taking part of it. All of this is going to live in the refrigerator, right? This is going to be in the fridge. That's where it's going to stay until you use it. Take it out of the fridge, put it back in the fridge. And then all of the needles that you've used for the day are now dirty. These are no good anymore. You're putting them in your sharps container. And your syringes, like all of the rest of these, so this is a version of the insulin syringes. Of course, now these don't have to live in the fridge. These can stay out. That's fine. If they're not opened, they're still considered sterile. So you just keep those on the side in a nice, not super hot place is usually best. So, okay, there we go. This is fantastic. So you've just learned how to reconstitute your peptides. Amazing. So next, let's dive into where to inject.